Now, apparently, my colleague from Senegal thinks that Article 24 is the most difficult to decide now. So he has no problems with the other articles, but he has problems on the issue of deciding where the headquarters should be. I would have thought that this would be the simplest issue. Whether it is Addis Ababa or Honolulu, that's a different story. But deciding where the headquarters should be, I would assume would be the simplest issue to decide. Now, it was people like Nyerere, Nkrumah, who decided that Addis Ababa should be the headquarters of the OAU. Addis Ababa ruled at that stage by Emperor Haile Selassie, a person who could not but be very different ideologically from this new generation of African leaders. But there is one fact that nobody can deny. Irrespective of what government rules Ethiopia, Ethiopia has always been committed to African independence and liberation. Who trained Mandela? Emperor Haile Selassie, the reactionary, trained Mandela, the revolutionary. Mandela was trained in Ethiopia. Who supported Mugabe in his fight against Rhodesia? Mengistu. Internally, Mengistu was a butcher. But on the issue of Africa, Mengistu was as solid as Haile Selassie was. Ethiopia's commitment to Africa has not varied with governments. You could have Emperor Haile Selassie, and you could have Mengistu, and you could have a different government. Didn't matter. Every African knows how it feels, every Ethiopian knows how it feels to be alone. We were alone on the table of the Europeans during the League of Nations, and we know what happened to us then. Now we are not alone. We have 53 African countries. And therefore, every Ethiopian could not but understand the meaning of African unity. I would be disappointed if this information were not available to my colleagues here. But if my colleagues are dissatisfied with the commitment of Ethiopia to Africa, I would hope that we would argue this matter openly and frankly. I would hope that those who might feel are better candidates than Ethiopia to host the OAU would come out in the open and claim so that we can discuss the matter on the basis of the merit of the proposals on the table. So I do not agree this is a complicated issue that needs further study to decide. This is a very simple issue. But I would agree that those who might think are better candidates for this union as headquarters would present their case openly and frankly, so that the merits and demerits of each position could be judged objectively. If this August Assembly decides that we have failed Africa, we are willing to accept that judgment. But we would hope that we would be given a fighting chance to prove that we have not failed Africa. And we cannot get that fighting chance unless the alternatives are presented openly and candidly. So by all means, let's discuss this issue. if there are candidates, alternative candidates, presented openly and candidly. Otherwise, to argue that this is the most complicated article in this constitutive document, and to suggest that this be postponed while the rest is approved, in my view, smacks of the economics of rent collection. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.